Good morning to everyone. In today's video, we are going to see transient response of series RLC circuit. Already we come across with the RL circuit as well as RC circuit in our previous videos. So the same sequence of steps we are going to follow, but the only variation is we are having both L and C, both energy elements are there. Okay, so we have to consider both previous state, initial conditions, initial conditions here. Okay, so please check this circuit diagram once again. We are having R, L and C elements connected in series, okay, which is excited with an DC voltage source. But in between, to study the transient, we have the switch here. Okay, the major portion is this switch. Okay, whatever the role is playing, this switch. Initially, we are assuming this switch is open condition before t equals to 0. That means up to t equals to 0, up to t equals to 0, the switch is open condition. When the switch is in open condition, that means there is no flowing of current in your circuit. Okay, there is no flow of current in your circuit. Then the inductor current is equals to 0. Inductor current is equals to, when no current is flowing in your circuit, then inductor current is equals to 0. At the same time, your capacitor is uncharged capacitor. Okay, your capacitor is not at all charging, that is, it is uncharged capacitor. That is, your voltage, okay, voltage across your capacitor is also 0 before closing the switch right now. So at t equals to 0, we are supposed to close the switch. Whenever you close the switch, the instant, okay, we are talking the instant, not after closing the switch. The instant you are closing the switch, the current starts to flow in your circuit. Okay, whenever it becomes a till now it is an open circuit. When you close the switch, it becomes a closed path. The current starts flowing through your path. At that time, the current is flowing through the inductor also. But the nature of the inductor is, it doesn't allows the sudden change in your current. The nature of the inductor is, it doesn't allows the sudden change in the current. Similarly, when the current is flowing through your capacitor, there will be a voltage drop. But the nature of the capacitor is, it doesn't allows the sudden change in voltage. That's why we are assuming the initial conditions as, even you close the switch instantaneously. I'm talking not after the 5 seconds or 2 seconds. The moment you close the switch, even the current is flown in your circuit. Since it becomes a closed circuit, the current through your inductor, we are assuming it as 0, since it doesn't allow the sudden change in current. As well as voltage across your capacitor is also equals to 0 from your initial conditions. These are the initial conditions of your circuit. Now whenever the switch is closed, we can able to find out the KVL to find out what will be the total voltage drops across your elements. Okay, so this is my source, these are my load elements. So we know that the voltage, the algebraic sum of voltage drops and voltage sources is equals to 0 in a closed loop. Okay, so to give that fun, drop is represented in terms of minus. So I just take the all drops in one side and all the sources on other side. Okay, so drops will be across your resistor, inductor and capacitor. It should be equals to your applied source. Here the applied source is V, since it is in DC source. Okay, I just replace what is V. VR is nothing but the voltage drop across your resistor, I into R. As well as for Similarly for your inductor, L di by dt. For capacitor, 1 by C integral I dt equals to V, total source. Okay. To do further calculations, we have this integration term here. So to eliminate this integration term, we are doing the differentiation on both sides. When you perform the differentiation, R becomes, whatever the constant single order term, it becomes as di by dt, and all a differential single order first order derivative, it becomes the second order derivative. The integrated term and the differential term will be cancelled over, so it becomes a constant I. Since it is a constant term, V is a constant term, when you differentiate with respect to I on both sides, okay, it becomes 0. Okay, now rearrange this equation in such a way that second order derivative, first order derivative and constant. So when rearrange the terms, whatever the L is there, it will becomes divide the entire equation. So d square plus R by L d ante first order derivative plus 1 by C into I. Here I is your parameter. So this equation is in second order differential equations. When you remember your differential equations, when it is in having second order derivative, the solution will be in the form of a e power m1t plus b e power m2t, where a and b is your constants and m1 and m2 are your roots. So already we know that to find out the roots, it should be minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, 2a. Here a term is nothing but the constant, coefficient of your first or second order. Okay, so this is the coefficient is second order derivative. A is 1, b is R by L and C is 1 by LC. When you replace those terms, it will be in the form of, your roots is in the form of minus R divided by 2L plus or minus 1 divided by 2L root over R square minus 4L divided by C. You just please check out how we have solved this. We just simplify or rearrange the terms here, not more than that. Okay, please go through that. Okay, still if anyone have the doubt, so B is nothing but R divided by L plus or minus root over R divided by L minus 4. C is nothing but 1 by LCs. A is nothing but 1 only. Okay, divided by 2A. 2A is also 1. Okay, so if I take it, R divided by 2L plus or minus 1 divided by 2 root over R by L whole square minus 4 divided by LC. This is the way how we get. Once we got this, whatever the 2 is outside the element, we just take it inside. So it becomes R divided by 2 square. So this 2 will be takes inside, or you may consider this entire equation. Is multiply and divided with 4. Okay. So when you rearrange the elements, it becomes like minus R divided by 2L plus or minus 1 divided by 2L root over R square minus 4L by C. So these are the roots. Okay, these are the roots. The response, okay, whatever this your final solution will be depends upon these roots. Okay, these roots. Here B term, this term will be real value. This term will be your real value, and this term 1 by 2L is also a real value. But the main element, okay, the nature of your root will depends upon this term, square root of root over R square minus 4L by C. if it is in positive value, you are getting a complete real value. You can get a complete real value. For example, if term is 0, okay, if term is 0, then we say that we have minus r divided by 2l. Real value, but same value is there. m1 and m2 both will be the same values. m1 and m2 are both are same. If this value is imaginary value, that means 4l by c is greater than your r square, then you have the complex term. This will be the real and this will be your imaginary values. That's why we can say that the entire equations, the entire response nature will depends upon this term itself, r square minus 4l by c. Now we will check each and every case. If r square is greater than your 4l by c, how it will be there? If it is equal to, that means r square equals to 4l by c, how it will be there? Or r square is less than 4l by c, how it will be there? The responses. Now, okay, if r square is greater than, that means this term is greater than, r square term is greater than, then this will be the real value, no doubt. This value will be real value. But your m1 and m2 values will be differ, because in one case we are adding the value, in other case we are subtracting value, then m1 and m2 values are differ. Then we say that the roots are real and different. Okay, real and different. Once we got the roots, now we are supposed to find out what will be your constants a and b. So to find out your constants, we simply go through our initial conditions. Our initial conditions is current flown through your inductor is 0 and voltage across your capacitor is 0. Okay, substitute these values in your differential equation. We know that I of t is 0 at the time t equals to 0. So simply replace those terms and you can able to find out your a is nothing but minus b. Okay, now we supposed to find out what will be the a. To find out that we simply replace our differential equations in our equation number 1, that is nothing but your KVL equation. I is 0, that's why here I will write IR plus LDI by dt plus 1 by c integral I dt equals to V. I is 0, L di by dt plus, here enter this value is nothing but voltage across your capacitor VC. Okay, VC also 0 equals to V. Then the first order differential current di by dt at time t equals to 0 is nothing but V by L. Okay, so we got that di by dt at t equals to 0 equals to V by L. Okay, so now differentiate your solution number 3. So whatever the equation number 3 is there, we don't know what is I, we just know what is di by dt. So differentiate your equation number 3 and replace those values. Di by dt, so I have to differentiate this a e power m1t plus b e power m2t. Here a is your constant. If you differentiate that one, it becomes as 0. So the only differential quantity is your em1t. So when I differentiate this em1t, it will become m1 into em1t. So m1 into em1t, your constant multiplication factor is a. Similarly for the b term also, m2b em2t. Okay, so when you replace this your differential terms, nothing but at time t equals to 0. At time t equals to 0, di by dt value will nothing but your V by L as per your equation number 4. And if I replace with t equals to 0 in e power m1t, it means nothing but 1. Okay, m1a plus m2b. Now we know that from our previous expression number 5, you can give any number here. From this, a is nothing but minus b. Okay, a is nothing but minus b. So replace this. So b equals to minus a. So when I replace this, I can able to find out the constant a as v divided by l into m1 minus m2. So to find out this b, minus, okay, minus v divided by l divided by m1 minus. So when I replace these values, in my current expression, I can find out, okay, I just replace m1, I replace the m1 values, a and b values, and I directly can able to find out if I minus m1 minus m2, this term will be cancelled over, this term will be cancelled over, r divided by 2l will be cancelled over, so it becomes plus, so it will be cancelled over, it will be 2 divided by 2l root over r square minus 4l by c. Okay, and this term is your exponential of m1 minus exponential of m2. So when I replace this, this is the total current expression. I just request everyone to observe this equation term, okay, current term cleanly. This is not a single term, okay, this is not a single term, this is an subtraction of, that is the difference of the two exponential quantities, okay, exponential of two differential quantities. Okay, this is case number 1. Okay, r square is greater than 4l by c. Now in the case number 2, we are considering your r square is equals to 4l by c. Then the square root term will be equals to 0. Then roots m1 and m2 will nothing but minus r divided by 2l. Then the roots we say that it will be real and equal. So when you having the same roots, instead of having the different element, we consider first one as constant and second one is its derivative term. So plus b t e power mt. So this is the thing. So to find out your constants a and b, we have to apply our initial conditions. When you apply your initial conditions, at time t equals to 0, current is 0, and a plus b, here time t is 0, so that b con term also becomes 0. E power mt is nothing but 1. So your a value is equals to 0. When a value equals to 0, when you take the differentiating of this, element, so a plus b term into e power mt. So when I take this uv formula, nothing but your uv formula, if I take the differentiate of this element m into e mt, if I go for the differentiation of this one, constant 0, and bt term is nothing but b into e power mt. Now we just replace our values, a equals to 0, and di by dt is nothing but v by l. So when I replace these elements, I can able to find out b is nothing but v divided by l. Okay, so now I say that the current response is nothing but v divided by l into t e power minus r divided by 2lt. Now this second case current response will be your exponentially decaying term, but it is a single exponential decaying term. When you observe your previous case, it is a difference of exponentially decaying term. Okay, now in the case number 3, we are going further. R square is less than 4LC. Now we have the imaginary roots. So for ease of calculation, instead of writing every time minus r divided by 2l, we just simply replace with k1 and k2 terms. Now again the same procedure we have to follow. Replace your m1 and m2 terms in your expression, okay, and find out what will be the solution, okay, what will be the solution of your current, okay. So here we know that exponentially a plus b, exponentially a plus b, okay, once again, exponentially a plus b is nothing but ea into eb. Now exponentially e power minus kt plus e power, okay, plus j k to t, I can written it as exponentially minus k1t into j k to t, and it is multiplied with a, again b, it is minus k1t into e power minus j k to t. If I observe these terms, in both the terms e power minus k1t is common element, so I just take it out. So a j k to t plus b e j minus j k to t. Okay, so the same here I apply the exponential rule. Here I am apply the exponential rule. Okay, now if you observe this one, okay, if you observe this term, it will be in form of e power j theta plus e power minus j theta. Okay, so we can write these exponential terms in cos and sin thetas. Okay, we can write this one in cos and sin thetas. So replace these elements with a plus b cos k to t plus j a minus b sin k to t. Okay, so these terms will be available in your complex numbers. So if anybody interested to go through those basic formulas, you can follow through your M2, I think. Okay, so whatever this a plus b formula, you can given it in variable m, and a minus b I can give it in variable of n. So m is nothing but, okay, m is nothing but a constant a plus b, a constant m equals to a plus b, and n equals to a minus b. Okay, to get this one, okay, to get entire this equation, we need to have as a sine term. Okay, whatever the waveform is there, we represent it in terms of sinusoidal. This m should be represented as a sine wave, the total expression. So here I have the cos term, here I have the sine term. To get this one, m should be equals to some multiplier of sine alpha, and this n should be represented in terms of magnitude of cos alpha. So when I replace this one, sine alpha cos alpha, I can able to mention this one as sine a plus b. Okay, sine a plus b. So I can given it as an p sine k to t plus alpha. Here alpha is an angular. Okay, what about your p? P is nothing but the magnitude of, okay, whatever the magnitude of your m and n. Okay, square root of m square plus n square. And whatever your alpha represents, it is a phase angle difference, tan inverse of m by n. Okay, now we are supposed to find out what will be the constants. Okay, what will be the constants p and k2. So at the initial conditions, by using your initial conditions, when you replace with t equals to 0, we have the two possibilities. Either p should be 0 or alpha should be 0. Okay, p can't be 0. Okay, if p is equals to 0, the total a plus b equals to 0. A plus b or a minus b is equals to, is not at all possible. Not at all possible. So p equals to 0 is not at all possible. The other condition is alpha should be equals to 0. Now differentiate your equation number 5 and apply your initial conditions. the same procedure, whatever the previous cases, we are able to find out what is the P and what is the other terms we are going to solve. So when you differentiate with respect to, it becomes pk2 equals to V by L. So P is nothing but V divided by L into K2. What is the K2 value? So what is the K2 value here? So K2 value is nothing but root over 4L by C minus R square. Okay, minus R square. So replace that one value and rearrange the terms and find out what is your P. Once you got the P value, replace that one in your current expression. Replace in your current expression. So this is the current response. Okay, current response, nothing but it is a sinusoidal waveform. It is a sinusoidal waveform and exponentially decaying. When you observe these three things, okay, when you observe these three cases, one second. In the case number 1, we are having the difference of exponentially decaying. That means the waveform should be like this, the difference of exponentially decaying. And third case, it is an exponential. If anybody have the for both exponentially, difference of exponentially terms and same exponential term, we given the same waveform. Please make sure that it is in a difference. That means two exponential quantities are differed. So here whatever the rise time is there, it is very less. In a small amount of time it is going to shoot up the value. It is, this rise time is very less for exponential difference of exponential terms. Please make sure that this is exponentially decaying term. Okay, here also it is going to decay, and this is nothing but your sinusoidal waveform. Okay, it is nothing but your sinusoidal waveform, and the nature of your sinusoidal waveform is also an exponential decaying. So when I say that sinusoidal waveform, we are giving in a form of like this. Okay, sinusoidal, but exponentially decaying sinusoidal, please make sure that your magnitude in first case, if it is in here up to here, in the second case it should be less than this, and the third case it is going to be likewise. In meanwhile the value going to reduce to 0. So finally we can give the conclusion that anyhow whatever the case you may consider, it is an equal to case or less than case or greater than case, whatever the thing, the final current value is equals to 0. It tends to 0. So this is the transient response. Okay, transient response of RLC circuit, series RLC circuit. Okay, thank you.